I think it's pretty safe to say that when we examine the Skywalker saga, there's a handful of Star Wars fans that really do enjoy the Disney Star Wars movies, and there's also a handful of fans that also enjoy these Star Wars films. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Star Wars as of right now is that we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are heading in a brand new direction for the new Star Wars universe that's going to consist of movies, TV shows, books, novels, and comics, and more. Now, the one thing about The Rise of Skywalker is that this film went through many different reshoots and rewrites, and it also had a lot of difficulty on really accomplishing specific tasks because of Kathleen Kennedy intervening with that and really initiating all these different rewrites that were actually done on set in order to save time. And I think that really played a major role as to why at times in this movie it feels very convoluted or feels very rushed or just very off, at least in the first and second acts of the film. Very fast-paced, almost feels like there's a lot of plot holes here and there. That's just how I saw things. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. But with that being said, this movie did actually have a lot of adjustments that were actually made to it, leading to a series of deleted scenes, and even all the George Lucas scenes were taken out of The Rise of Skywalker except for a handful that were actually left in the final cut of the movie. Now, on top of all this, what's really intriguing about The Rise of Skywalker is that, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker as a film, they are focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe. It's noted that Disney has major plans in place in order to reunite the fans around the world, where it's explained that during the principal photography stage, during the first phase of reshoots, George Lucas was developing two different endings for the film with director J.J. Abrams. It's explained that he and George were working on an alternate ending of the film aside from the actual ending that they were working on. This alternate ending was intended to be released on the Blu-ray of the film before Kathleen Kennedy decided to have no deleted scenes on disc. It's noted that the alternate ending for the film involved Rey Skywalker with a young boy with black wavy hair that would be based some years after the events of the Battle of Exegol, where Rey would actually construct her very own double-bladed lightsaber that was going to use the kyber crystals of Luke's green saber and Leia's blue saber. The scene was going to progress to Rey handing the Anakin Skywalker saber down to the mysterious boy that would grip the saber hilt and turn around looking at a binary sunset on Tatooine at a large Jedi temple. The Force Ghost of the past would eventually appear in front of Rey and the boy, including the Force Ghost of Ben Solo, where this entire scene was partially shot, however will never see the light of day as Kennedy was the one to make the call that it would never appear on disc. It's unclear if this alternate ending was shot to be made canon or not. So alternate endings can be very tricky when it comes to movies. It really makes you wonder at times. It all depends on the writer or director on whether or not it's going to be considered canon. Now, this particular ending, you can see that J.J. Abrams took a lot of inspiration from Colin Trevorrow. In the Colin Trevorrow script, Rey in fact does develop a double-bladed lightsaber. And it was an actual double-bladed blue lightsaber to be exact, and that's something that I think a lot of fans would have loved to have seen in the new Star Wars movie for a majority of the film, right? We only got Rey's new saber in the final cut of the film for like a couple of seconds. It's a single-bladed yellow one, and if you guys have read the novelization, you will learn that she plans to build a double-bladed. Now, with the boy is a very interesting part here because this also connects to what we talked about over a year ago of how they were actually casting a young boy to be a part of Star Wars Episode 9 at the time that was going to be very similar in appearance to a young Ben Solo. So it really brings one to ask themselves, could this very well have been the son of both Rey and Ben Solo that would somewhat give the opportunity for Disney to pick up on the Skywalker saga in the future if they really wanted to do that? Well, they could have, but that could have very well been used as their insurance. If the new Star Wars trilogy doesn't go well and they just want to go back to the Skywalkers, they could have done that. Now, with what they did, they really can't because basically they cut off Ben Solo and they're kind of just putting him to the wayside. So, with that being said, this particular ending by George Lucas sounds amazing, of how she uses the kyber crystals of Luke's saber, the green one, and Leia's saber, so both blue and green kyber crystals, indicating that she was going to have a double-bladed lightsaber that would be both colored green and blue, while handing down the Anakin saber to the young boy. To me, I kind of like that. I gotta be honest, I like how she hands it down to the boy to carry on the Skywalker legacy. I think that makes a little bit more sense, but I also didn't really have too much of a problem with her burying it on Tatooine, right underneath the sands of Tatooine, right next to the Lars homestead. I didn't mind that either. It was kind of fitting, to say the least. That's one of the things that I liked about the movie. I don't know if you guys did. But yeah, with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I'm not the one from night.